Ho 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 ho. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, and fellow Genshin Impact lovers and haters. The time for Natlin is nearly upon us, and I've made video after video after video on it. Granted, I did make one big condensed video on the special program preview, but regardless, that would have ended out to a lot of little videos, but it was one big video. Today, we're going to do something similar. Today, we have a double trouble special. Both collected miscellanies, but, and I'm assuming I'm going to also do one tomorrow, because they're probably going to release the last one tomorrow, but I didn't do the one from yesterday, sadly, because I didn't see it. So we're going to do it today. We have Mualani's one, as well as Kachina. So I'm going to look at both of these. I was kind of debating whether I should just do all three of them in one go, but I was like, nah, I'd rather leave them. And there's actually a very specific reason why, aside from I forgot, and that is because the last character, I forgot his name, but he's the emo edgy boy with the dinosaur thing. I actually am probably most interested in him from what I've seen from gameplay, so I kind of want to have his thing separate. But Mualani and Kachina, at the very least, both of them seemed kind of ass. Now, in general, if you've been following my Natlin coverage, you'll know that I'm not too excited for Natlin. Unlike Fontaine, unlike Sumeru, Natlin's whole thing is alright, it's cool, but I don't know if it's the aesthetic that I don't really like. I don't know if it's the initial wave of characters. I think it's honestly just a combination of everything. I like Malvika, right? I really like her, but she's the Archon. I was probably going to like her anyway, unless they really fucked her up. But, I really feel like these initial characters, while they're okay design-wise, I'm not loving their design, but their designs aren't bad. The biggest thing I see them as is too gimmicky, right? I don't see how they could be good in gameplay, at least in terms of fun and in meta, because they really just look like they're for overworld exploration, and usually you don't have both. At the very least, unless you're Farina. But either way, we're going to react to both real quick. We're going to see how good they are, and I'm going to get a decent feel for their kits, because I really don't know what they do aside from seeing them in the trailers. But my initial reaction is, number one, we're saving for Malvika, so it doesn't really matter. But it's really going to matter, I guess, for the last, for the Dendro guy, because at that point I might do a 20 shot, probably, but might not, but we'll see. But for these two clowns, you know, Mualani and Kachina, I'm probably going to do a 10 shot, if at most, because I think we get Kachina for free. Mualani is obviously the 5-star, Kachina is the 4-star, so we got to see how it goes. But I doubt I'll do a 20 pull. I might do a 10 pull, but we really got to look. So, without any further ado, let's start actually, not with Mualani, let's start with Kachina, because this is the newest one, and she's the 4-star, so hopefully this will be a little bit easier to get through. Anyway, let's take a look. The little cat girl.
The land of the Children of Echoes is rich in gemstones.
Oh.
Naturally, the tribe has no shortage of skilled miners.
Miners?
Kachina may appear small compared to her fellow tribespeople, but what she lacks in height, she makes up for in sheer enthusiasm.
Oh my god, look at her. She's a fucking dancer.
I can join the team?
Look at her stupid scooter thing.
Kachina uses the power of her Geovision
And that's
to
another
operate
reason I don't want her.
Turbo
She's
a
Geo.
geo-construct which she can ride to quickly scale walls and get around.
They copied the
This
code
sturdy
from
drill
freaking,
can also dig her out of trouble
that
when she
girl.
commands it to act independently in
I keep
combat.
forgetting her name.
With her elemental skill, Kachina gains a set amount of Night Soul points,
Oh.
enters the Night Soul's blessing state, and summons Turbo Twirly.
Turbo Twirly.
Turbo Twirly can be summoned in two ways. Tapping the skill
Kirara,
summons
that's
Turbo
her name.
Twirly as an
I remembered.
independent construct, while holding the
kind of,
skill allows her to...
The fucking little side thing, first of all, that looks amazing. Like, I didn't expect it to look that good. That bar on the side looks really fucking good, number one. And number two, it kind of reminds me of Fremine.
Ride it.
This shit does
Turbo
not
Twirly
last
is present,
long.
Using Kachina's elemental skill will switch between the mounted and unmounted modes.
Wow.
In the mounted mode, Kachina moves and scales walls more rapidly.
I
Her
thought
normal
this
attack
lasted
is
a
converted
lot
to a ground
longer.
slam,
Oh,
which
I'm not
deals
gonna lie, that
AoE
looks
geo
kind of cool
damage
actually.
based on her defense.
Defense
In the
scaling?
unmounted mode, Turbo Twirly acts as a geo construct that performs periodic attacks. All
Okay.
of Turbo Twirly's abilities consume Kachina's Night Soul points.
Alright.
When Kachina exits the Night Soul's blessing state, Turbo Twirly will disappear.
Oh no.
After unlocking the talent The Weight of Stone, Damage dealt by Turbo Twirly
That
will be
looks so
increased
funny.
based on Kachina's defense.
I really thought it lasted longer. Is that her ult?
With her elemental burst, Kachina summons
Wow.
Turbo Twirly to her side and strikes the
Turbo
ground. This
Twirly.
attack deals AoE geo damage based on her defense and creates a Turbo Drill field.
Oh my
This
god.
field increases the AoE of Turbo Twirly's attacks
Yeah, it did look
and boosts
bigger.
its movement speed when mounted.
Wow.
After
Why would you want that? Why would you need that? Like, I feel like that's a little icing on the cake, but it's nothing crazy. Also, they're showing Mualani here. Oh,
unlocking
shit.
the talent Mountain Echoes, Kachina will gain a geo damage bonus when a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul Burst.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Behind the scenes, Kachina is always quietly striving to discover new things about herself and the wider world.
Yeah, and she can only do it with
If
one
Kachina
fucking
is in your
wall.
party, interacting with certain harvestable items in areas with Natlan's phlogiston mechanics will restore stamina.
Okay.
Also, nearby Natlan regional specialties will be marked on the minimap.
Okay.
In
It seems
areas
like a lot of
with
characters
Natlan's
share
phlogiston
that.
mechanics, if the active character enters a specific state, Kachina can take the field already in the Night Soul's blessing state,
What?
mounted on Turbo Twirly, with
Wait.
Night Soul points available.
What?
Also, within Natlan, Kachina will consume less stamina while climbing walls on Turbo Twirly. Kachina is an
Wow.
avid collector, in general, but
It doesn't look
especially
like
of
that
shiny
much of a
gemstones.
difference.
If anyone tries to take them,
Oh.
she'll stop at nothing to teach them the perils of greed.
Wow. She's
In
all
battle,
about justice,
Kachina
huh?
holds her elemental skill to mount Turbo Twirly and quickly
Turbo
maneuver through enemy
Twirly.
lines. Then, tapping her skill, she leaves Turbo Twirly among the enemies to attack them with the support of her party members,
This shit
dealing even greater
looks
damage.
so ass.
When energy is full, Kachina creates a Turbo Drill field, mounts Turbo Twirly
So if
once
you-
more,
if
and
you
unleashes
take it off,
repeated ground
right?
slam attacks.
If you leave the turbo field and then take it off and then switch out to someone else while the turbo twirly's in your old field, does the regular like automatic one also have increased range? It's fucking better.
To clear out her enemies.
Because that range is actually decent when it's in its ult.
Kachina excels
Look at
at
those
unearthing
fucking
precious gems,
insects, those
but falls
crabs.
short when it comes to recognizing her own strengths.
Oh god,
An
look, there's the
anxious
green
person,
guy.
She worries about causing trouble for others.
Oh, what a
and
nice
fears
young
her efforts will
kid.
prove futile. She tries to visualize challenges like an ore mine,
What
where
the
victory,
fuck?
much like a gemstone, can be unearthed with enough effort.
That guy looks like a clown.
That's not a bad approach.
Oh, look at the
But if she could
capybara!
only turn that thought process
That's the
inward,
best part of this
she wouldn't
trailer.
have to dig deep to find the treasure
face
trove of
looks so
potential and
silly.
resilience she already has.
Ooh. Okay. So, excuse me. That was definitely something. Initial impressions. This character, I mean, I already don't really fuck with Geo, but it's like, this character looks like fucking shit. I'll be honest. Like, the main thing I'm thinking, right? She's either a main DPS or a sub DPS. I don't know what else she could be because it doesn't look like she buffs anything, right? So the first main thing is she's probably not going to do enough damage, so she has to be a sub DPS. And you're pretty much probably going to mainly use her to traverse Natlan a little easier, but even the traversal, I mean, there was a little thing they showed like right around like here, right? Where, you know, you could transform into her while you're climbing, which was decent, but realistically speaking, the climbing in this game is already fucking outdated to shit, and this thing should be just redone, honestly. Playing other games, like, you know, Wuthering Waves, where you have infinite sprint, you could literally run up walls, and, you know, infinite sprint out of combat when you're not climbing something. The movement in that game feels so much better. The movement in Genshin feels outdated, and it feels like shit. And these things I was hoping would make it feel a little bit better. And this even goes to show in Fontaine, it even feels better, right? Even with characters like New Valette being added, where you go through the water faster, even without him, you feel like you have a decent amount of, like, sprint under the water, where you could swim for a long time, you could dive for a long time, right? And, like, keep going fast. Way longer and way faster than you could do it on land. But this shit almost looks like there's no fucking difference.
Also, within Natlan, Kachina will consume less stamina while climbing walls on Turbo Twirly.
Like, the fact that you consume stamina at all is dumb. Like Kirara, I don't think consumes stamina at all. Like, what the fuck? You can see on the right here, because she's in Fontaine, she consumed a little bit. On Nalan on the left, she barely consumed any, if at all. But it's like, bruh, like, this is so stupid. I thought you could use this forever. Now, granted,
Kachina is an avid.
this is where was it? I think it was right here, where she used it for like a lot
interacting with
longer.
certain.
Let me
There's
see
a
one more
night soul
time.
always quietly striving to discover new beauty, interacting with certain harvestable items in areas with Natlan's phlogiston.
Okay, so it
specialties
wasn't
will
here.
be
It was
marked on the
somewhere
minimap.
nearby, I think.
In a Kachina,
Maybe I missed it?
she leaves Turbo
Yeah, no, I think I missed it. Fuck.
marked.
Either I missed it or I'm going crazy, but I thought there was a point where, like, she used it, and she used it for, like, a hot minute. But maybe I'm wrong. I think it was here, though, but either way, it doesn't matter. Her thing basically looks stupid. The main thing I feel like people are going to use her for, because let's be real, the game is old enough to where you have your teams already, unless you're newly coming into Natlan, which, granted, you know, and that's your first time joining Genshin, where, you know, if that's the case, then I guess maybe you might get her, you might use her, but I can't see her being competitive. Now, granted, I'm probably going way too far in for a 4-star, but the alt zone better help Twirly whatever. What the fuck is this shit called again?
Already in the Night
Turbo
Soul.
Twirly. The fucking alt zone better help Turbo Twirly with its range, because you better be able to hop off of it while in the alt zone and have it actually still work, because this shit looks half decent in terms of range, but the main problem is you basically have to fight around these things, and you have to corral the enemies, and without the old zone,
And a
it looks too
geo-damage
small.
bonus.
And realistically speaking, let's be real, her damage isn't going to be anything crazy because she's a 4-star, so she's probably trash. I don't care about her, and I'm sad I spent time on her. I probably should have even skipped her. But because she's the starting, I guess, trio of Fontaine, I might as well have done her. And we did. Now we move on to Mualani, so pretty much same shit. I think Mualani's mainly going to be for exploration and movement. I'm a little scared to how much of that is going to be like the case now with Kachina showing what she showed. But, you know, I'll reserve judgment until I see shit. But Kachina looks like ass. She looks cute, though. You know, I'm not going to say she doesn't look cute, and they did good on her visuals. Lore-wise, I don't really care. Gameplay-wise, big poop. Let's see Mualani. The Hawaiian
If you
girl.
visit the people of the springs in Natlan, look out for
Hawaii.
the water sports shop with the questionable-looking floaters and surfboards on display. At the
Questionable? I
entrance.
think they look amazing.
That shop
Yo,
belongs
look
to
at that
Mualani,
llama.
a surfer girl likely to come crashing
Look
into
at
your
this
life
shit.
unannounced, like a rogue wave onto
Look at
the
that
shore.
stupid shark. I thought it was a
Hey guys,
dolphin.
how's it going?
Ooh, yeah, look, she's so chill.
Thanks in
Aloha.
part to her tribal background, Mualani's
Oh my
connection
God,
to the
she's
hydro element
tribal.
runs deep. Her
She
versatile
glows like
elemental skill lets her
rainbow.
travel on water and boosts her attacks by charging them up through collisions with enemies.
Wow.
With her elemental skill, Mualani can whip out her surfboard at a moment's notice,
Damn.
ready to navigate the waves at high.
See, look, these things don't last long, right? You look at a person like Farina, and you see, like, wow, this thing has infinite uptime, and she could just run on the water. Now, granted, it's not that fast, but it's still faster than swimming, I think. But you could do it infinitely. This shit is so, like, low.
high speed. She also gains Night Soul points and enters the Night Soul's blessing state.
Okay, so it seems like the Night Soul shit is like the whole big, I guess, grand gimmick poobah thing of Natlan, and they're actually putting it in early, because Fontaine had the Bond of Life mechanic, but that came in really towards the end.
In this state, Mualani continuously consumes Night Soul points
Oh,
as she
it looks like
rides
it's
her
going
sharky
slower on the
surfboard.
water,
Her
actually.
movement speed is
Wait, that's actually
increased.
pretty good.
And as well as being able to travel on water, she can even surf along liquid phlogiston without suffering damage.
Lava.
When all Night Soul points
Yeah,
are
and
used
if you're
up,
on land, it
or when her
consumes
elemental
more.
skill is used
Okay.
again, the Night Soul's blessing state ends.
Oh.
In areas with Natlan's phlogiston mechanics, if the active character enters a
See,
specific
this is the question I have,
state.
right? Let me get rid of the things here. There's like a separate bar above the health bar. I wonder what that is exactly. Also, does this kind of give us a hint of where Natlan is located in
Mualani
the
can
world?
take the field already
Kinda
in the Night
see.
Soul's blessing state, with Night Soul points available.
Huh.
Additionally, when in the
But
Night
let me
Soul's
see this
blessing
shit again.
state, with Night Soul points available. Additionally,
Interesting.
when Mualani surfs on water or
He
liquid
uses less.
phlogiston in the
Yup.
Night Soul's blessing state, she will consume Night Soul points or phlogiston at a slower rate.
Okay, so this is actually somewhat worth it in terms of exploration now. The land one sucks wiener. which I guess is what Kachina's for, but even Kachina's one sucks wiener in terms of duration. On the water, though, Mualani's definitely pretty good now, exploration-wise.
In the Night Soul's Blessing state, Mualani's normal attack is replaced with the more
Huh?
powerful
It
Sharky's
fucking
Bite,
bites.
which deals hydro damage based on Mualani's max HP.
Yup, okay, so it's like every other Hydro unit. They just scale off health.
Colliding with an enemy in this state tags them, and gives Mualani 1 stack of wave momentum.
What?
Wave momentum has a
Bro,
maximum of 3 stacks.
some of these
and
ads look
each
so
stack increases the
stupid.
damage dealt by Sharky's Bite. When 3 stacks are
Sharky.
reached, Sharky's Bite is replaced with Sharky's Surging Bite,
Oh.
further increasing the damage dealt. Wave momentum is then cleared. Additionally, when an enemy is attacked by Sharky's
Lynette.
Bite, their tag is removed, and Shark missiles
So-
are fired at up to a certain number of tagged enemies nearby.
Wow.
Shark missiles deal hydro damage and remove their target's tag.
Okay.
After unlocking the talent Heat-Resistant
Just like
Freshwater
the
Floater,
Golan.
striking an enemy with Sharky's Surging Bite will generate a floater nearby.
A
Mualani
floater?
can collect floaters she herself has generated to restore her Night Soul points.
Oh, okay, so you can last in the zone, or in the state longer.
Mualani's Elemental Burst fires a Super Shark Missile.
It's called Boom Sharkalaka. Oh my god.
Which homes in on enemies and deals AoE Hydro damage based on her max HP.
Okay.
After unlocking the talent Natlan's Greatest Guide, when a
You
nearby
literally
party
just
member triggers a
died.
Night Soul Burst, Mualani gains Wave Chaser's exploits, using her elemental
What
burst
is a
throws
Night
all
Soul
Wave
Burst?
Chaser's exploits to increase the damage dealt by this burst.
It looks
Staying
like
positive
graffiti.
and
Oh,
optimistic
look at her.
often
What the
makes a
hell?
person far more productive.
What the fuck?
When Mualani is
That
in
was
the
so
party,
cute.
interacting with certain harvestable items in areas with Natlan's Phlogiston mechanics,
What is the
will restore an
phlogiston
amount of
mechanics?
phlogiston. Also, nearby Natlan regional specialties will be marked on the minimap.
Wow.
If you vacation in the people
So
of the
her and,
Springs territory, Mualani will be more than happy
The
to be
oh
your
my
local
god, what the
guide.
fuck is the other girl's name?
But anyone who steps out of line will
Kachina.
find
Her and Kachina
themselves
have
in
the
hot
same
water.
passive almost. Slightly different, but they
Mualani
also share
starts
it.
the battle by using her elemental skill to enter
Wait,
the
you can
Night
mark
Soul's
the same
Blessing
enemy?
state.
That's crazy.
Then she surfs the battlefield, tagging enemies and charging her wave momentum. At charge level 3,
I don't think she killed
performs
that
a
slime.
Sharky's Surging Bite,
I'm not sure
harnessing
though.
all her surfing prowess to deal increased damage to enemies. When energy is full, Mualani fires off a Super Shark Missile, and she and Sharky ride the
Sharky.
tide to victory.
Bruh.
Like many business
Oh
people,
my lord.
Mualani entertains certain superstitions about wealth generation,
Oh god.
such as a
the
belief in good
scams.
omens. Perhaps
The
that's
credit
why
card
she likes to
scams.
visit Citlali and have her fortune
Citlali?
told. But I don't think Mualani has blind
Bro,
faith
they're
in the
literally
answers
Hawaiian.
she gets. More likely, she's simply
Oh
curious
damn, okay,
about what's
okay.
next
Ooh,
in
look at her
store for
go,
her.
okay.
What or
Ooh, she
who
got the
is waiting
maracas.
around the corner.
Ooh. Oh, we're waiting
And if
around
the
the
omens
corner.
bode ill, no big deal. She'll either bide her time till her luck turns around,
Wow.
or charge on through to the other side.
You know what's crazy? They actually showed the
Sometimes
Traveler more
spontaneity is a
accurate.
powerful force
doesn't have
that can
pyro
drive
yet.
away bad luck.
According to the lore, they can't get pyro yet. Okay. This is interesting. So I'm gonna be a bit nicer than I was with Kachina, because I thought her kit was gonna be straight ass, and I was thinking that even while I was watching the video, but honestly, there's a lot of bells and whistles to her kit that make it a lot better. Now, granted, what do I think she is? Obviously, she has to be a main, like, at worst, sub DPS, at best, main DPS, because she has to be on field. You can't do what you do with Kachina and just switch to another character. You have to play her actively. So, the main thing that I like is I thought on land that her shit didn't last long, and it doesn't. It really doesn't. However, the main thing that's good is that you can extend it. Like, if there was like naval combat, like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I would say the Shark is actually probably really fucking good. Sharky. But because it's on land, I was like, okay, initially this looks ass. Now, granted, they could overbuff her numbers, right? If her numbers are off the charts, if her health scaling is crazy, then it's fine. It doesn't matter, because she's just going to do nuke damage. But I don't think she does nuke damage. Now, at least from, what I'm seeing. But the kit itself actually doesn't look too bad. I really liked Yolan's mechanic when I first got to see Yolan, when I first actually got her. I like the whole thing of tying strings to people. Now, granted, it's kind of sad that Yolan is pretty much just an alt bot and maybe a charged attack user as well, if you really try and push it. Her skill is okay, but that was kind of the thing that I was really surprised about when I was still ass at the game and was doing like 10k damage max with a hit. I saw Yolan like string up everyone with her skill and did like 20 to 30k damage with it. I was like, oh my god, that's insanely broken. I know better now, but I'd always thought the idea of like, connecting enemies or marking them by running through them was actually a really fun concept. And to see Mualani have that is actually really nice. And the fact that you get sort of you get incentivized to do it because you gain increased time in your landform with Sharky, I think is a really good like thing. Now the only issues is there's a couple of problems I already see. Number one, it looks like still it lasts too short, right? It is not very forgiving with how fast you have to do that. So it means number one, the enemies have to be grouped, and number two, there's very low margin for error for you to do this. Now again, they keep adding bells and whistles, right? If you mark 3, you get like extra bonuses, you hit other people, you get the stupid like puffer fish that floats to you and does God knows what. All these things are pretty decent. Now the main thing is, I think her kit's gonna be fun, but the question is she gonna be good? I honestly don't know. We have to see with the numbers, but her ult might be a gigantic nuke damage thing. But honestly, I'm kind of surprised with Mualani. I wouldn't be sad if I do a 10 shot and get her, especially for the movement. But I would be sad if I get a Kachina. I don't really care about Kachina, and I think we're getting a free one anyway. But Mualani seems a lot more decent and a lot more better from everything I see. Not great, but better than I initially thought. Her kit unironically seems kind of fun. Now, I know Genshin's kind of marketed to a younger audience compared to their other games. And just hearing these names like Boom Sharkalaka, like Shark, I like Sharky, but that's where I draw the line. Everything else is kind of just too cringe for me. If it's not for you, that's fine. If people like her, keep on liking her. I think she's nice, but there's just certain things that go over the edge for me, where it's like, oh, good lord, what is this? This is targeted towards cringy ass shit. But honestly, I'm decently surprised by her. I thought her kit was just gonna be ass. I didn't know there was this many additions and addendums, or I think what is it called, amendums, whatever the fuck the word is. I didn't know there was this much like extra shit on her, which actually makes her again decent, more decent than I thought. But we gotta really see numbers, and we'll only see that when tier lists come out, when people make their videos guiding us, and when I see the actual numbers in game. So even though I'm a little shocked and surprised by Mualani, it's not changing much, but it is actually changing a little bit of my opinion on her. I really think that she's gonna get just, there are already Hydro people that do what she does better. Aside from the movement, especially in Natlan, probably not, and I don't think she's gonna get replaced with that. She's probably gonna be one of the best water movement people, only for Natlan, probably. But aside from that, everything else she does, damage-wise, I mean, we already have the teams, the dream teams. Nuvolette, Farina, God knows who else, but Nuvolette. So she's not going to really, like, take up your damage use. And that's kind of the problem where these characters, unless they have the gimmick, which, for these, it's movement. But for the future ones, especially for, Shneznaya, what are they really going to fucking do at that point? Because they have to compete against old characters. So unless they're easier to build, not as complex or stringent, or they take advantage of some new mechanic or some gimmick, I don't know how they're going to compete with all these existing teams. That's kind of the issue, where you have to kind of power creep yourself because you're backed into a corner because you want people to buy these things. Now, granted, not everyone's a meta slave, right? There are going to be people that buy her just because they like her look and they're, she's cute. I already had a couple of viewers that said that in the other videos too, and that's perfectly fine. But the whales want to fucking, meta slave. They don't want to just, they obviously have waifus, but I don't think Mualani is going to be many people's waifus. But either way, general opinion, like I've said many times, better than I thought. Still not too great, but we gotta see numbers. But I'm a little shocked. But either way, that's gonna be all the reactions, hopefully, for the night, and I could just relax and go play fucking Zenless or something. But that's gonna be it for me for now, and because it was a double, it's literally double the size of my normal videos, which would have been like 12 minutes. But we're here for 24 instead. But either way, I hope everyone enjoyed. I hope you guys watch me at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel, and that's it. Bye!